just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is Tuesday, so that can only mean one thing: on air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. You guys know the one. Hey, today is show number 329. Countdown to 330, right? Isn't it every 5 and 10 is like a milestone or whatever? So next week will be 330 shows that I've done. I mean, man, who would have thought? Not damn sure not me. But anyway, this is the monologue section. I just want to make sure everything is right like it's supposed to be. And I think that something's gonna work for me today. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. This is we're in new territory now. Okay. So I finally got it to go, and I don't know what I did different. I don't think I did anything different today. But we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and FaceTime or Facebook. Okay, FaceTime, Facebook. So yeah, so for the last several weeks, I wasn't able to link in or connect with Instagram, IG. So now I'm on IG as well today. Let me just go back over there and say yes, hello IG. So yeah, so make sure you're free to make comments, right? You can, if you're on IG, you can make comments. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, you can make comments. If you're on Facebook, shout out to the people in Blythe, you can make a comment. So that's what it's all about today. Of course, I always have topics that I'll discuss. Of course, I never do one of these shows where I don't showcase a hotel. So today's no different. I just got off the phone, not on the phone, but I've been emailing all morning, and I appreciate stuff. I mean, things like this I appreciate, and you'll understand when I tell you. So I've been going back and forth on with this particular hotel, not back and forth, meaning when I mean back and forth, like emailing back and forth, asking questions of a sales manager who I'm trying to book a family reunion at this particular hotel. And for some reason, I just went in and out. I don't know why that happened, but hopefully we're still in. So I've been going back and forth asking questions, right? And the last question I asked, I must have asked maybe 5 questions, different emails, as I, want to make sure I remembered everything to ask him. Of course, I don't ask him all in one. It's not all in one email, right? But I asked him. I said, hopefully this is the last question. And his response after that was, after he had answered the previous question, he said, as many questions as you have, I'm here to answer them. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, right? So I appreciate that. So his name is Julio, and I want to say Arias, Arias, Arias. I believe that's how you spell it. So he's with the Pacific Palms Hotel. Pacific Palms is out there in City of Industry. So it used to be the Sheraton back in the day. So it's on top of the hill. So if you're driving on the 10 freeway and you're passing Azusa, it's that big building that's in the distance. You see it on top. It used to be a Sheraton back in the day. But yeah, that's Pacific Palms. Sits on the golf course. Sits on some acreage. So it looks kind of out of the middle of nowhere, but it's actually, I mean, it's nice. It's near. It's not too far from LA. So hopefully things work out where I can say, hey, we finally booked this reunion. It's here, but I got to get buy off. I just got to make sure that the powers that be are ready to move forward with a contract and agreement. So yeah, so I do reunions too, right? So whatever needs to be done, I do. So yeah, so hopefully maybe today or maybe tomorrow this is taken care of and I can move on because it's actually in July, right? So we do this every other year, every even number year. So 24 is the last one, 26 is the one that's coming up, right? July of 26. So and they have both sets of dates available. So when you're sourcing for a group, I always ask for 2 sets of dates, and I make sure that my client gives me 2 sets of dates because sometimes they're hell bent on having, well, it's our annual, or whatever, it's our quarterly board meeting or whatever. I've said, I understand that, but ask for different dates. What if that date's not available, or what if that rate on that one particular date or those dates is too high for you? So give me 2 different dates. It's okay if they're in the same month. It's okay if they're a week before, a week after. It doesn't matter. Just give me 2 sets of dates. Then that way If one day doesn't work at a hotel, maybe the next one will. And a lot of times it will. So, and sometimes you can save money if you are flexible. Okay. So that's my advice to everybody. But some groups, some corporate groups, they can't do it because they've come up with these dates, maybe, I don't know, 6 months in advance. I guess. I don't know. That's what they tell me. I don't know. But I'm like, you know what? We got to be flexible in order to get the race that we want. Sometimes we got to be flexible. Okay. There you go. So, mm. So anyway, so once again, you can make your comments, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, IG, and Facebook. So shout out to everybody. So yeah, so we're about to get this party started. So like I said, this is the monologue. I'm Russell of Hotels. This is show number 329. Yes, it is. I had to look again. Today is what? Tuesday, January 27th. I do this every Tuesday at 1 o'clock PST. And I also do a daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so if you don't check out this, that's fine. Check out the daily check-in. I had a great one yesterday. In fact, I gotta do a quick shout out for somebody, but I'll do that after I get this party started with the intro. Okay, so we're gonna do the intro, and we'll be back in like, what's the intro? Maybe like a minute and 5 seconds or something like that. So I'll be back in a minute and 5 seconds. All right. So hold on, bear with me. And yeah, we'll be back. Hey, welcome back to On Air with Russell of Hotel, show number 329. Once again, today is Tuesday, January 27th. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock. I think it's 1:08. So yeah, I'm trying something a little different. I came up with a new intro. I'm not sure. Do you like it? Let me know. I can change stuff. The music seems a little, halfway through it, get a little, which I like, right? So, so maybe it's something that needs to grow on me. I don't know, but I can change the music. I think the video, shows kind of what I do or who I am. It had food in there, so it's on non-meat eats. You saw that, right? I do. What am I trying to say? I showcase hotels, or I do. I can't even think right now. I'm all about elevating brands, and that's hotel brands, and that's anything hospitality. So it's hotel, and that's tourism, and that's destinations. Okay, so those are things that I kind of make sure that I showcase those. Like today, I'll showcase a hotel, right? So those are things that I do all the time. When I go out, for dinner, and because I don't eat meat, for people that don't know, I do not eat meat. So that's why I call it non-meat eats, because you'll never see me eat meat. And a lot of times I don't even show meat. I may be out with someone that's eating something like fish or beef, a steak or whatever, prime rib, whatever. And a lot of times I may take the picture just to appease them, but I won't post it. Okay. Because that's not what I eat. Right. And I'm not against anyone that eats that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You can be right next to me and eat your food. That has nothing to do with it. It's just that I'm all about the non-meat eats. They're not. Okay. If they want to post their food, then they can go ahead and post it on their platform. Right. But for me, I try to stay consistent. Right. So if I don't eat meat, I'm not going to show you meat. Okay. So there you go. But if I do show you meat, it's somebody that I'm dining with, and they're eating that. And maybe it look good. It can still look good. Just because I don't eat it doesn't mean doesn't look good. So what I try to do on this new intro is like get little bit of that hotel site selection, elevating your brand, and the non-meat eat. So I try to get all three of those elements on there because those are three things that I do, right? I mean, I'm all about elevating brands. That's what I want to do, right? With hotels, destinations, tourism boards, whatever. So those are things that I do. Hotel site selection. I just talked a little bit about that just before the show started. I'm, going back and forth and trying to solidify a contract for this particular family reunion that I'm doing as well. And yeah, so I'm trying to showcase those things. And I wanted to incorporate some music, kind of upbeat, but not too upbeat. Not head banging music, but something with a little something to it. So let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. Okay, let me know what you think, and it'll be all right. Let me know what you're thinking, and it'll be all right. So okay, so every now and then I bust in the song, okay, just so you know. That's just me. So don't, nothing's wrong with me. That's just what I do every now and then. So let's just move on. Shall we move on? Let's do it. Let's do it. So thank you. This is a shout out, and thank you to Jason D. Agostino. He's a corporate director of revenue management. He was a guest on my daily check-in yesterday, the one I do with Miss Tiffany English. Okay, so Mondays are devoted. So when I do the daily check-in, comes on at 9 o'clock a.m. Okay, on Mondays, only on Mondays. And Jason D. Agostino, he had been watching our show, Daily Check-In, for the last several weeks, and he'd been making comments or whatever. And long story short, I invited him to come on, because he had some great comments, right? And he does revenue management, right? So a lot of people know. Well, some people don't know this, and Tiffany didn't know this. So I'm glad I had him on the show because there's some things that Tiffany is an event planner. She deals with hotels and contracts all the time. And then when you send out an RFP, sometimes the RFPs or the proposals don't come back immediately, right? A lot of times they don't. Well, what is the process when you send it to your sales manager, your partner, or whatever? What do they do with that information? Can they just quote rates nilly-willy, or do they have to go through some? Or is there a system in place to do that? Well, a lot of meeting planners or event planners or whatever, they don't know that there's someone behind that curtain that's actually pulling the strings on the rates, right? Well, Jason D'Agostino is one of those people. Okay, so we wanted to get him on there to give his or their perspective. When I mean a revenue manager's perspective, okay, on how they come up with rates. What are the factors that are in that rate? I mean, what happens? Do they look at, okay, it's just a hotel room, or it's a group, right? But they don't have any food and beverage or whatever. Maybe the rate will be higher if they don't have food and beverage. But if you have food and beverage, maybe the rate will be lower. If they're coming on, the weekends, depending on where it is, it could be lower, or if they come in midweek, like Tuesday through Thursday, the rate could be higher. So it's all based on, historical, things that are happening within that hotel or that destination. Is it, graduation? Well, we want to come in the summer. Well, this group is in the summer, right? Well, those dates are over graduation. There's like 5 colleges within 30 minutes. And, it's always going to get, a lot of hotels are going to get filled. And if they're not filled, the rates are going to be, off the roof. But if you come next week, if you're flexible, like I mentioned a little while ago, if you're flexible, you come next week, the following week, and the rates will be, $150. But if you come the week of that graduation, the rates are going to be $250. You know what I mean? So you're saving money if you're flexible. So he talked about things like that. So make sure, if you haven't checked it out, the replay is there. I never delete anything. So make sure you go back and check it out. So once again, shout out to Jason. I appreciate his time yesterday. I appreciate Tiffany coming on and asking those questions, right? Because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Victoria's Coffee has some music for me. Oh, okay, Victoria's Coffee. I don't Okay, if you say so. That sounds that sounds good, Victor. Thank you so much, Victor Simmons. See, this is what happens. So if you make comments in real time, you'll get your comments on the screen in real time. So Victorious Coffee, that's Victor Simmons. If you guys didn't check it out last week, I was a guest on his show last week. So go to my page and see the one with Victor and myself. The replay is there. Check it out and see what we're talking about. But we had a great conversation, and once again, I thank him for allowing me to come on because that was his first show. That was his first podcast that he's doing, a new show that he's doing, and I was his first guest. So it's always good to be number one. Okay, so I appreciate Victor inviting me to come on. Victor's been on my show a couple times, and will be back on the show soon because he's coming out with a book. And I want to say the book release is next month, I believe. So you see the two books in back of me. See, a lot of people don't even, I guess maybe they haven't checked this out right. They haven't paid attention to the show. But there's two hotel related books that are right in back of me. One right here, that's Bruce Jordan, the MJ of hotels. That's his book, right? The Hotel Revenue Bible. Okay. And then right here is Sarah Dandishy. That's her book, okay, on hospitality. Okay, those two people are dear friends of mine. And of course, we support each other, right? So, of course, I went out and bought their books, right? So, the pre sale and all that, of course, I'm going to be there to do that. So, Victor, when your book comes out, let me know, send me the link or whatever I need to do, and we'll make sure we get it there. And then it'll be back here as well. Okay. Maybe I'll replace one of these pictures right here with your book. Okay. So we'll get rid of that picture there and put your book right there. Okay. So, but yeah, so I appreciate you. And once again, check out the replay it's on LinkedIn, it's on YouTube as well. The conversation Victor and I had. And a lot of things you may not have known, right? Victor and I have known each other for a long time. I'm not even going to tell you how many years we've known each other because when he mentioned it, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I knew, but to say it, it's like, damn, we known each other that long. Are we that old? You know what I mean? I mean, that's where I get, I get kind of choked up about that. Like, damn, are we that old? I don't know. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. So yeah, so let me see if there's any comments on IG. I see Teach Joy 927 PMA. Rahel Ethiopian cuisine. You know what? I got to give a shout out to Rahel Ethiopian vegan cuisine because you guys know I don't eat meat, and I mentioned that before. I don't eat meat, and Rahel's this a restaurant in Little Ethiopia. If you're in Los Angeles, you know Little Ethiopia for the most part, and I go there all the time, right? Because they have a lot of vegan food. And in fact, they have this vegan platter that I get with the injera bread. And oh my God, it's you know what? I gotta come back in and check it out. I mean, I have some more. I haven't been there, maybe about a year. I haven't been there. Maybe it's been yeah. Well, you know what? I normally go every Father's Day. I know I go at least once a year on Father's Day because it's my choice. It's my day, right? So I always say, let's go to Rahel for Father's Day. So, but I need to go in there at least 3 or 4 times a year, like once a quarter, right? In fact, someone I was having a conversation with the other day said, "Hey, do you like Ethiopian food?" I said, "Yeah, I go to Rahel's all the time." And he wasn't sure where Rahel's was. I said, "Don't worry about it. Let's go. I'll lead you to it." So shout out to Rahel's. I appreciate you coming on. And I appreciate the food you put out. I love your food. I love your restaurant, and I will be there soon. Oh, the spiciness of it. Oh my God. That's why on my bucket list is going to Ethiopia. Okay. That's my bucket list because I'm just going to go and eat. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to hang out, see the sights, but most of it is going to be, I'm going to be eating. So there you go. And I'll let you know when I go. So. Oh man, I'm on one today, people. I'm on one today. So once again, every time I have this show, I do showcase a hotel, and this one happens to be. And a lot of these hotels are not local, right? Because I travel. Just in case you didn't know, I do meetings all over United States. I've done some international as well. So I mean, I happen to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, and downtown the Marriott. So of course I'm going to show that particular hotel. 302 guest rooms, about 60,000 square feet of meeting space. They have some outdoor space as well. Very nice hotel overlooking the there's like this spear. They call it the sun spear, and I'm gonna show you that as well. It's very walk. The downtown is very walkable. A lot of these third, fourth, fifth tier city destinations, a lot of times we don't know these places exist until you show them. So my job is to show those particular hotels, right? Or any hotel I've stayed in. And a lot of times, the groups that are the meetings that I have are in third tier cities, like third, fourth tier cities, meaning not as popular as the first tier cities like a Los Angeles or a New York or San Francisco, or New Orleans, or Chicago, those kind of cities. Those are first tier. Everybody wants to go there, right? That's why the rates are so high, right? Because everybody wants to go there. But if you consider something like a Knoxville, Tennessee, depending on what the meeting is and what the group is or who the group is, and depending on where they're coming from, because airlift can be a challenge sometime. Okay, meaning getting people in and out. But for me, I think I had to. There's no direct flights from Los Angeles. I'm in LA, right? So I think I flew to. Where did I fly to? I flew to Houston. I flew through Houston. So Houston, I had a connecting flight to Knoxville. Okay, but it was simple. One flight, one connection, boom, and I'm there. So it's not that far from the airport as well. It's the downtown area, very walkable. If you're into that kind of Southern cuisine, okay, there you go. I was able to find some. You know what? You could always find some non-meat eats. Okay, I found a restaurant in Knoxville, downtown Knoxville, that had vegan food. Right. So one thing, people are getting it. People are understanding that everyone is not eating what they all used to eat. Meat. I used to eat meat. Don't get me wrong. I used to eat meat, cheese, whatever. But now I limit myself. Well, I don't eat it anymore. So even, I mean, I drink milk, but it's almond milk or coconut milk, something like that. Oat milk. Oh, I love oat milk. And cheese, but it's the cheese that's made with. There's like a lot of coconut milk cheese out there. So I use that. So I cook with it. Of course, any restaurant I go to, if it, something that has cheese, you got to make sure like vegan cheese, blah, blah, blah. Well, if it's 100% vegan restaurant, then right? But sometimes, like there's this place, okay, I go to like a bar. It's called the Proud Bird, right? They have a bar and they have like restaurants where you can get food. They have like four different restaurants where you can buy food, right? And one of the things only thing I can eat there is a Beyond Meat burger, but they'll try to put cheese on it and it's regular cheese. I said, was it vegan cheese? Oh no. Oh no. Well, then it won't be a vegan burger then, will it? Oh, come on now. So you got to be careful about what they put on it. If there's mayonnaise on it, is it vegan mayonnaise? No, that's regular mayonnaise. Well, just give me the dry bun and I'll use ketchup and mustard. Okay. Because I know those two things are vegan. Okay. So there you go. So you got to be careful about, well, I have to be careful about it, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Let's see what else. Let's see. No one else making comments. That's okay. So this is the Marriott Knoxville downtown, 302 guest rooms. Like I said, 60,000 square feet. This was the bar. Every restaurant, every hotel has to have a bar. You got to hang out there. This is one of the meeting spaces. This is a boardroom, of course. Of course, it's a boardroom. I think it sits like maybe 16 people or so. This is a part of the lobby. To your right would be the front desk area. Behind that kind of wall partition, there's a lot more seating over there, and then that leads to some of the meeting space. So it's, very, very nice hotel. It's very, the word they use is well appointed, very well appointed. Okay, so I don't even know what that means, but just know that it's nice, and it is downtown, and it's a Marriott, and you get those points. So I made sure I got my points. Okay, get that. Are you a member of Bonvoy? If you're not a member of Bonvoy, you need to be. Okay, so. And to get that free Wi-Fi, okay, in the lobby, in your guest room. This is my guest room. You know, I always show my room. Okay, this is a room. Before I jump on the bed, I make sure it doesn't matter who I'm with. Okay, I'm traveling with family, right? They know to, to lay back a little bit and let me take my photos and videos before they can come in and mess up the room. Okay, so before they bring their bags in, I have to take a photo of the room. Okay, different angles. So I take this one first. I go to the window, take it back the other way. I do a video. One thing I don't do, because everybody's seen a toilet, right? I don't take a lot of photos of the bathroom. Maybe if it's the vanity area, maybe I will do that. But I want to make sure that I don't get the toilet and all that stuff in there, because we've all seen toilets, right? So I always want to make sure that I don't get those. I don't put those in the photo. So you'll never see me post a photo and the commode is right there, okay? Because we've seen commodes enough, okay? But we haven't seen these rooms. So, but yeah, very nice hotel. Definitely would be on my list of places if I had a group that was looking for something kind of out of the way, easy to get in, easy out, walkable downtown area. It would be a destination like a Knoxville. Okay, so but don't like I said, don't sleep on those destinations. This is in Knoxville for people that don't know is a college town. So University of Tennessee is here as well. So of course, during football season, you probably can't get in on the weekends, right? But I guarantee you they got some deals before the weekend, even if it's football season and they're playing on Saturday. I bet you can get some good deals on the shoulder dates before these I'm sure huge groups come in there. So but yeah, so don't sleep on those, like I said, third, fourth, fifth tier city destinations, because you get a better rate than if you went to the larger ones. Okay. I mean, that's easy, right? Everybody should know that, right? Everybody knows that. So this is a working desk. This is where I was doing my work. My laptop there was not there now, but it was. And this is the Sun Spear. It's an observation deck. Now, from what I understand, this was built in 1982, or it was built for the 1982 World's Fair. Do they still have World's Fair? I know there's like the Space Needle in Seattle, that was built for the World's Fair too, and I can't remember the date or what year that was, but kind of the same thing. But this is not nowhere near as tall as that, as the Space Needle in Seattle, but kind of that same vein, but nothing like that, nothing like that. But still cool views, and you can see things. You can see the river. Actually sits on the river. You can see the university and all that stuff. So yes, 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 yes. And then visit Knoxville. So if you have questions about Knoxville, just go visit knoxville.com. See, I always want to make sure you give shout outs to people that may be looking, or people may not, they may be interested in Knoxville. They may not, maybe they don't know anything about Knoxville. Well, now you can go visit Knoxville, which is the CVB, or Destination Marketing Organization. Just go visit knoxville.com. You get all the information, how many hotels are in Knoxville, the downtown area. All the information will be there, because that's what their job is, right? That is the city's the tourism arm of the city. And most cities have a tourism arm for, because they want to get business there. They want tourism. They want those tourism dollars. So who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? So, okay. So, of course, we always have a topic. Let me just see if there's any comments over there. No comments over there. So, I always have a topic, right? And this won't take long. In fact, let me have a drink here. You know what? Someone that does a podcast or a show like this, you know what their best friend is? Water, a glass of water, bottle of water, something like that. Because you talk so much, right? And sometimes you just need to quench your thirst. I need to quench my thirst. So that's what I did, right? So you drink whatever you drink, right? But I like water. Okay, so that was water. So that wasn't soda. That was Topo Chico. You guys ever had Topo Chico? Topo Chico? And that's lemon lime, right? I remember when it just came out and it was just regular water, just sparkling water. But then they started coming out with these flavors. I'm like, okay, all right, I like this. So yeah, so Get it by the case now. So not that I'm trying to get a sponsorship deal or anything like that, but if you know someone with Topo Chico, let them know. Let them know. So anyway, the topic for today, excuse me. Okay, I didn't even mention this. Okay. Next week I'm going to IPEC. IPEC stands for, we're big in the hospitality industry, hotel industry. We're big on acronyms. Okay. IPEC. What is IPEC? Independent Planners Educational Conference. That's what IPEC stands for. Okay. So, and it's put on by North Star. If you guys know North Star, they put on IPEC. They put on a lot of different, they put on all the destinations, like Destination East, Destination West, Southeast, Midwest. They do all the Destination Caribbean. I mean, they do all those programs, right? Um, and they're my favorite ones to go to. So they are putting on IPEC, which is next week, and it's in Phoenix. So of course, when I get there, I'll let you know where I'm staying. I'll show you. I'll take the photos and the videos before I walk in the room, before I mess it up, so you can see it, right? So, but anyway, so I guess there should be certain things that we do before we go to these conferences, especially when you have like appointments and going to a North Star, specifically IPEC. There will be one-on-one appointments with between planners like myself and hotel salespeople, as well as destination salespeople. Like, let's see, what did I see? Who did I see that's gonna be there? Um, Monterey. What's it? Joe Marcy's going to be there, right? So I'm just throwing people's names out there, right? Joe Marcy, he's a sales representative with Monterey. Is it called Visit Monterey? Monterey, California, right? So he's going to be there. So that's the destination. So I don't know if I have an appointment with him, but anyway, he's going to be there. So they have one-on-one appointments. So I may have a one-on-one appointment with him, right? So it's like 15 minutes. You find out about Joe finds out about me, and sometimes people have RFPs, requests for proposals, and a lot of times they don't, right? So it depends on what you're going to be doing there. Do you have RFPs? Do you have business right now? Or are you just fact finding? So there's several different things or several different ways you can approach this. So, but I came up with top 3 things to focus on at IPEC, okay? Or any conference that you may be going to that has one-on-one appointments, okay? So let's get to it. Let's get into it because this does not have to be that long. Let's see. Where are we? Or where am I? Not where are you, but where am I? Okay, number one, lock in your game plan for every appointment. What does that mean? Oh, before I get to that, with IPEC happening next week, many meeting planners, event specialists, and hotel site selection professionals like myself are walking in with full calendars and limited time. When you have 25 to 30 appointments scheduled, I think I scheduled 35. I may not get all 35. I don't think I want 35, but you had to do at least 30. Okay. So I said, I'll go 5 over. Okay. Because sometimes you don't get the appointments and it'll whittle down to maybe to go down to 30. I've done 20, signed up for 20 at other conferences where 20 was the minimum. And then I only got like maybe 15 or something like that. So it just depends on, because people cancel, people fall out and like, I can't make it or whatever. So it just depends. But I think I'm pretty sure for this conference it's going to be at least 30 appointments. And if I get 35, that's fine. That is okay. That is okay. So 25 to 30 appointments scheduled. Success isn't about how busy you are. It's about how intentional you are. And the reality is this: you won't always have an RFP to hand out to a hotel or a DMO representative, okay? At IPEC, the goal is to build clarity and relationships before the RFP ever exists. So remember that. Everybody is not going to walk out of there with business. So that for the hotel people as well as the DMO people, they're not all going to walk away with business, all right? I'm not going to walk out of there with a contract, okay, saying, okay, well, you give me give me the contract where, we talked about this. No, I'm not going to walk away with that. I know that. So, we got to have realistic expectations first and foremost. And why are you there? Why are we going to these conferences? So know why you're going and be ready for it, right? So number one, lock in your game plan for every appointment. Clarity beats chaos. So make sure okay, at 8 o'clock, 8:30 was the first appointment, 8:30. Let's just say it's at 8:30. You know where you're going to be going, and you have the appointments ahead of time, right? So you don't get them the day of. You already know who you're meeting with. Okay, so just be prepared. Know a little something about them, right? Where they're located, something. Before you arrive, review your appointment list and rankings meeting. So they'll rank them A, B, C, or one meaning a high priority, and maybe five not as much. Maybe you just need information about it. Maybe you just want an introduction. Maybe you don't know these people at all, and that's a lot of times we don't know who they are and we just need information. We're fact finding. We're finding things for maybe a future meeting or something like that. Me personally, I don't ever know where my clients are going to meet, right? So it could be anywhere. So it's to my benefit. It behooves me to meet with as many people as I can because I don't know where the heck they're going to want to go. I remember a couple years ago, I went to I gone to it was a I don't think it may have been IPEC. Yeah, it was IPEC, and it was in Greenville, South Carolina. I had never been to Greenville at all. I don't think I had ever been to South Carolina at that point, right? So I went there because I never been there and I wanted to see, one of those third, fourth, fifth tier city destinations, right? And was pleasantly surprised on the walkability, the quality of the hotels that were there, the service from the CVB or the DMO. It was great, right? I was blown away. And just so happened, I had a client who wanted to have something in the Southeast region. And she was from Atlanta, but had never been to South Carolina either, right? And I mentioned, I said, hey, have you ever thought about South Carolina? And I mentioned a couple of hotels. She goes, no, my God, I never even thought about it. And I had reached out to my contact with who I had met at IPEC, and then ended up doing a site tour there. And guess what? She booked 2 meetings there. So it works, right? It works, but you just have to know why you're going and what you're trying to do. But yeah, I went there fact finding and found a lot of information and was able to intelligently present it to my client because once again, I never know where they're going to want to meet. So they just tell me the destination and I go from there. But sometimes the destination they throw out, they don't work for whatever reason, right? And sometimes they can be open, like, you know what, we're saying, the Atlanta area, but it just has to be in the Southeast region. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of opens up, you know what I mean? And then now you're looking for, different destinations and hotels, and the rates are different, right? Because if you're trying to meet in downtown Atlanta, the rates are going to be higher than what they would be if you're on the outskirts of Atlanta, or if you chose North Carolina or South Carolina, right? So there you go. So just do your homework. So clarity beats chaos. Before you arrive, review your appointment list and rankings. Know what you want from each conversation, a future destination option, a backup hotel for compressed dates, pricing or market intelligence, a relationship reset or introduction. See, a lot of times we just want to be introduced to people because, like I said, we don't know we're going to be meeting in the future. We don't know anyone from that destination, and we get to know them. We get to know the destination. We get to know the hotel players as well. So a lot of times it's just fact finding, and that's okay, right? But just know what you want before you go into it. Don't go in there if you don't have business for someone. Tell them you don't. I don't. You know what? I don't have business right now, but I never know where my clients are going to go. So I'm here to fact find. But these are the types of meetings that I do. This is the regions where I've had them. We have expanded into this region or whatever. Just be honest and be forthcoming with the information, right? So, and then go from there. Decide what a win looks like, even without an RFP. Not every meeting is about immediate business. Not every meeting is about immediate business. Okay. And I think everyone knows that, but sometimes people go in there saying that they have business and know damn well they don't have any. Okay. But you have to be honest and upfront. Okay. Some are about future alignment, and that's just as valuable, right? So if you're there, if you can at least form a relationship, so when you do need them, then like, oh, I know Russell. Oh my God, this it's been like 2 years, but now you're calling me. Okay, yeah, we have this available. That happens. That does happen. Number two, tighten your tighten your talking points. You'll repeat them about 25 to 30 times. Yeah, you're gonna be repeating stuff over and over again. So don't have no attitude, okay? Because you gonna get tired of saying the same stuff over and over again. Okay, but that's just how it is. Make it count. Be ready with a 30-second intro that clearly explains who you serve and how you help. Okay, so let them know who you are, and the types of companies and organizations that you work with, the size of them, what their particular dates are. And that, well, right now for this particular group, I don't have the dates yet. I expect them soon. Once I get them, I'll figure out where they'll let me know, what destinations or what regions they want to be in. I mean, be upfront with them. It may not be the region that they're in. It just may not be. It just may not be. A clear snapshot of your typical clients, group size, the timing, the patterns. Are they coming on a Wednesday, out on Sunday? Okay, there you go. One smart trend or challenge you're seeing across your, I'm sorry, did I read that right? Yeah, a clear snapshot of your typical clients, group size, timing, patterns. One smart trend or challenge you're seeing across your client base. This allows you to have a meaningful conversation without needing an RFP to justify the meeting. And I don't think anybody's really going to trip about that if you don't have, and if people have attitudes because you don't have RFPs, well, they're in the wrong business because everyone does not have an RFP. So if this is your first time, if you're watching this and it's your first time going to one of these events where you have one-on-one appointments, everyone's not going to have an RFP. 99% of the people that walk out of there after the couple of days of this meeting and conference or one-on-one appointments will not get business. 99%, it's probably less than that. 99% of the people, probably more than that, will not get business when you go to these shows. Okay. But I would say if you're in it for the long haul, 100% of the people will make new contacts. Okay. And that's should be the main reason that you're going, right? You want to meet new contacts. You want to, maybe there's people there that you haven't seen in a long time. Hey, it can be a family reunion. I mean, yeah, it could be a reunion. You could meet people, get reconnected with people like, oh my God, I didn't know you were here. I actually have something for you there, whatever. So just make sure that, we keep it realistic, right? Because like I said, 99%, and I said it and I keep saying it, 99% of the people will not have RFPs, okay? 99% of the hotels will not leave that place with business, okay? So there you go. I had to gaze into the camera. Number 3, ask questions. Ask smart questions, then shut up, okay? I should have said that. Then listen, okay? Ask smart questions and then shut up. Especially when there's no RFP on the table. Okay. Questions are your currency. Ask things like, what type of group business are you best positioned for right now? Where do groups typically run into challenges at your property or destination? You know what? That's a good one. Ask those kind of questions because at this point you don't have a group that's coming there or that's scheduled to come there. So ask questions. This is my group, and these are some of the challenges that they have been faced with in the future. How do you handle those things? Or some of the challenges that some of the groups have had. I mean, that'd be great if they would be forthcoming with that information. I don't know if they would, but I would ask that question, right? I have, and I've told a couple of people that I've had some challenges with a couple of hotels, and oh my God, it was ridiculous. So maybe I'll ask some of those questions, right? Because these are like out there. I don't know why it has to happen to me, but anyway. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that because I get, whew, I never will mention that hotel again in a good way or a bad way, right? Definitely would never recommend that hotel. This is a hotel that I had a group in, and everything went just ridiculously bad. Okay, it was over the top bad, and they didn't do anything to fix it. And even to this day, this is about almost 3 years ago, they still have not made it right. Okay. So I will, of course, I'll never use a hotel again. I'll never even mention it because once you mention it, it gives it legs and people will start looking at, well, let me look into this hotel, and I don't even want that. Good, bad, or indifferent. I don't even want that. So, only thing I'll say, it was in Arizona. It was in Tucson, Arizona. Okay. That's the only thing I'll say. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I'll say. Yeah, I just start singing. It doesn't matter the song. But let's see, where was I? Okay. Ask smart questions and listen, especially when there's no RFP on the table. Questions are your currency. Ask things like, what type of group business are you best positioned for right now? Where do groups typically run into challenges at your property or destination? What should planners understand before they ever see and before they even send you an RFP? Your value isn't in handing over business, it's in gathering insight you'll use when the RFP comes later. So yeah, gather as much intel or insight into that hotel because that can be the difference between you giving them an RFP or not, okay? Because you're still fact finding, you're finding out how they're handling things, right? How did you handle this? Or how did your hotel handle that? What are the biggest challenges your hotel has with groups of this size? Or they may not have challenges. Oh, that's our sweet spot. We love that. Ask that question. Like, what is your sweet spot as far as groups are concerned? Some big box hotels, we love, 500 to 1,000 people. Okay, that's great, right? The smaller ones may say 50 people is great. We love 50 people. You'll own the hotel with 50 people. Okay, that's great too. So now you can gauge, okay, well, this may be the right hotel for this smaller group that I have, maybe for the board meeting or whatever. So I mean, I've done business with this hotel. It's called the House in Denver, right? And I remember the salesperson telling me that 50 people was like, that was their sweet spot. 50 people was their sweet spot. And we ended up having a group of like 45 people. They loved it. Okay. And it all stemmed from him saying that 50 people was their sweet spot. And it damn sure was, right? So we come in with 45 and they kept repeating. It was a repeat group now after that point. I think I haven't used it or they haven't used me in a while, but I think maybe they did like 4 programs back to back to back to back. Okay, so yeah, and they end up going to another hotel and they stopped using me. So they started doing it in-house. So that's what happened. But no, it was a great group, great hotel. But I remember that, right? So when Denver comes up in conversation, like, hey, the House Inn, that's the one I would use, especially for groups that are like 45 people or under, 45 to 50 people. So there you go. So I just had to throw that out there. So in closing, IPEC isn't about walking away with contracts, okay? It's about walking away with confidence in who to call, where to look, and which partners truly understand your clients, because that's what you want, right? You won't always have an RFP in hand. In fact, let you guys know, I'm not showing up with any RFPs. I have no RFPs, okay? When relationships are built early and conversations are intentional, the RFP becomes a formality, not the starting point. So just remember, you don't always have to have an RFP. That'd be great that you do, but there's still business. There's still gonna be business at hand, and that's finding a contact for that hotel, that destination. There's still a lot we need to do. There's still a lot we can uncover. There's still a lot that we can educate, the suppliers on these particular hotels, or I mean these particular groups. Okay. And that's what it's all about. Like, who are the groups? Like, say I have, 5 to 10 clients, right? The 10 clients, but maybe 5 of them they book for the most part all the time, right? Um, so I have to tell them about those 5 different clients, what they look for, because all 5 of them look for totally different things. One is high end, super high end. So if you're a 3 diamond hotel, they're not going to use your hotel. And I'll tell the hotel person or the CVB, hey, do you have any? I'll ask them first. Do you have any 4 and 5 diamond hotels in your city or your destination? Oh no, we only have 3. Okay, well, that conversation is short because this one client, my corporate client, is not going to want to stay there. And then say they do have, oh yeah, we have quite a few of those. Do they have, for the meeting, do they have natural lighting? Meaning, do they have windows? Well, no, they don't. Yeah, maybe, yeah, we have 4 diamond or 5 diamond hotels, but only one of them have natural lighting. Okay, well, give me the information on that one, because this same client only wants to use meeting space that has windows. It is what it is, right? That's what they want. My job as a hotel site selection person is to find that hotel for them. And even if we have to change destinations to do it, they don't have a problem with that. So know your client. Don't be afraid to let the suppliers know that no matter how strict they are, this is how they get the business, right? If you don't have it, sometimes you got to walk away. And we all hate to do that because we spend so much time with them. We can't even send them an RFP. I wouldn't even send them an RFP if they don't meet those, if they don't meet what the client wants, then I can't send them an RFP. It's just how it is. It's unfortunate. No, it's not unfortunate. I mean, it's just the way of what they want. That's how they do business. So that's all you can do. So there you go. So let's move on because we got one more segment to do. Who's hiring? Who's hiring? And these jobs today are in the greater LA area. Oh my goodness, did I not do that? Oh no. Oh my goodness, I must have did something wrong. I guess I didn't write that down. It was only 3? It was only 2? Maybe it's only 2 jobs. Okay. Well, there you go. Okay, that's okay. So who's hiring? Real quick. This ain't gonna take long because there's only 2 of them. Okay. Okay. Hampton Inn and Suites Hollywood. They're looking for a dual director of sales. Okay. And then the Cambria LAX, they're looking for a corporate regional director of sales. So there you go. And those jobs are on either indeed.com or hcareers.com. So check out either one of those platforms and you will find those. And for people that don't know, hcareers.com, those are sites that when people are looking for jobs within the hotel space, they look at that. They look at indeed.com and they look at searchwide.com. Now, searchwide is, you get a lot of CVB, DMO positions that are open nationwide. Okay. So if you're interested, just go to those platforms and check it out. And there you go. So I think that's about it, right? So that's it. I see no other questions. Let's see. Let me check again. Nope, only Victor Simmons. So yeah, so On Air with Russell of Hotels comes on every Tuesday. Okay, this is show number 320. So if you show number 320, I'm sorry, not 320. This is 329. Next week will be show number 330. So this is maybe your first time. Just make sure you come back. The replay is always there, right? So if you're unable to check out it live. I mean, of course, we would love for you to check it out live, but it's there on a replay. So I just want you to watch it. Okay. So it didn't have to be live. It doesn't have to be the replay. You choose. Okay. you choose. So if it's a replay, that's great. If it's live, that's great as well. But just check it out. There's a lot of good information there, as you can see, as you can tell, right? And plus, you get to hear me and talk to me and all that kind of stuff if you choose to do that. Let's see. There's some more information I wanted to put out. Oh, you know what I wanted to put out? The QR code. Boom. Okay. So I'm sure you guys noticed that on every other scene that I went to had a QR code. Okay. So you just use your phone, put it on camera, and it'll basically go to that site. Just hit it on your phone, and it'll go to that site. And then you have my email address and my website. Okay. So, and the website is a work in progress. It should be getting done here pretty quickly, but give me another week or so and it should be done. So but yeah, so go ahead and check that out. And let's see what else is there. Anything else I need to share with you? So that's my email, my website. So yeah, so QR codes are good these days. So if you're doing a show like this, utilize a QR code so people can go and do it. If you notice things on TV, there's a lot of TV and social media platforms like YouTube and TikTok and all that. They'll show QR codes as well. So I'm just trying to compete with them, right? I'm just trying to make sure the information is easily available for people, right? So if you want to email me, please do so. Just like I said, the QR code is there. If you want my website, instead of me putting it on there, russellofhotels.com, you just go to there, click, and all the information is there. Okay, so that is it, right? So that is it. Let me just make sure. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, because I have two of them. I have like choice of, well, actually three QR codes. I had the small QR code. See, right there in the corner, right there. I have this QR code, which is replace that one. And then I have the big one. Boom, there you go. So whatever one you want to click, you can click it and go from there. And every time someone clicks on it, I get a notification. Isn't that kind of cool? So anytime someone clicks on it, I get it and it just popped up. I don't know who clicked it, but it pops up. So isn't that kind of cool? I love this site. So I use Restream. So if anyone, not that I get anything from Restream, but if you're interested, because people will ask me every now and then about, how do you do your show? How do you stream to multiple platforms? Well, I use a platform called restream.com. Okay, so just go restream.io.com. Okay, and you join just like you would join anything else, and it's pretty self-explanatory once you get into it. But I'm able to stream to YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, which is a gaming platform, Instagram, as well as Facebook. Okay, so you can do up to 5, right? Anything over that, you have to pay extra. I mean, I already pay for it. It is a monthly fee that I pay, so it allows me to do up to 5. But if I want to do multiple, if I want to do up to 8, you got to pay a little extra for that. But 5 is fine for me. I don't need to do more than 5. So there you go. So just if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me and we go from there. So anyway, that is it because it's almost 2 o'clock and try to keep this thing to an hour or so. So any comments, feel free to make them. Even on the replay, you can make comments and I still look at those. So thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you, Jason D'Agostino, for helping us out yesterday. Remember, tomorrow is Wednesday, hump day, and I do the daily check-in, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I do a daily check-in that lasts maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then on Tuesdays, I do On Air with Russell of Hotels, this show right now, this live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. That's it. So anyway, that is it. You guys have a great day.